Hey everybody, Miss Stokes here. I'm going to be talking to you guys about how to convert your SOAPST table to an analysis essay. More specifically, an analysis essay that we will be writing in class. It's a timed essay and you will have 50 minutes, 50. So this is not the essay that you've been looking at. You've been looking at the essay excerpt by Lippmann on kind of considering the opposition's perspective more fairly. I don't want to do a sample on that one because I will steal all of your great ideas. So instead I'm going to do a different sample and show you the process, and then you can apply the process to your own SOAPST and essay on Lippmann. So let's begin. So here is the sample essay prompt that I did my sample on. You can just watch this video from beginning to end, or you can go along and do the pausing and reading to get a more thorough understanding. It is viewer's choice. But my suggestion right now would be is to pause the video and give this prompt a read so that you kind of have a gist of what's going on. So go ahead and pause and give it a read. Okay, so now that you have read the prompt, the very next step that we would take is annotations. So just like for the Lippmann prompt, you did your annotations first, and then we went over it in class with an optional workshop. I read over this Abigail Adams prompt in her letter to her son, John Quincy Adams, and I annotated the way that she wrote her letter in order to kind of start exploring how she achieved her purpose. Then from these annotations, I would then go to my next step, which is to make my SOAPST table. So here on this slide, we have the speaker, occasion, and audience. If you can, please go ahead and pause and read through the SOAPST responses for these three kind of areas of study. All right, so now that you've read through the speaker, occasion, and audience analysis, go ahead and do the same for the last half of the SOAPST table for purpose, shift, and tone. All right, so at this point, we are all in the same place with where we are in the kind of analysis process. We have all read our prompts, we have all done our annotations, we have all made our SOAPST table. One thing I want to stop and talk about is how with our future practices, not this one, we might no longer need to do a full SOAPST table. So for instance, on my annotations, I kind of show how I might just make notes specifically on SOAPST to help myself. So that I don't have to do a full SOAPST table. I misspelled occasion. I'm so sorry. But remember, SOAPST is a thought process. It is a tool. We've been doing a lot of SOAPST table because I want you to get used to the thought process and used to using the tool. But ideally, this would become a thought process that you're able to do in your head and that you don't need to write down. It is a way of thinking. So once you feel confident with this way of thinking, you'll be able to skip the SOAPST table step and just add it into your annotations as part of your thought process. And it might look like this. Now let's get to really the purpose of the video, which is how to turn this SOAPST table into an essay. So here I have the SOAPST table for reference over to the left, and I have my writing over to the right. So the first thing you're going to need to do with your essay, like any essay, is you need to have an introduction, a hook, background, and thesis. Go ahead and pause, if you could, and read through the sample introduction. Excellent. So what's really important to take away is the thesis and how it's ordered. So we've mentioned this before, but I will mention it again. When you write your essay about her letter or about Lippmann's excerpt, you want your essay to be in the same order as their writing. So as you can see, my thesis says, ultimately, the tension between mother and son resonates through Abigail Adams' use of contrasting pronouns. Contrasting pronouns is what my first body paragraph will be about. And I will pull from the first one or two paragraphs of Abigail Adams' letter. My second body paragraph is going to be about allusions to authority, which pulls from the third and fourth paragraphs of her letter. And my third body paragraph will be about manipulative pathos, which pulls from the last two paragraphs of her letter. So as you can see, to increase the line of reasoning and to prevent redundancy, I write my essay to be in conversation with the prompts excerpt. Okay, so that's how I was able to kind of structure my thesis. I said, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? What am I doing here? And then I listed out what I'm going to analyze. All right, so let's move forward. So now I'm on body paragraph number 1. So I'm going to start with my topic sentence. Abigail Adams opens her letter in direct opposition to her son, utilizing contrasting pronouns to emphasize their disagreement. Remember, this contrasting pronoun analysis comes from my thesis. As I let my readers know, that's going to be the first thing I analyze. And that corresponds with my following topic sentence to show that I have an organized line of reasoning where my paragraphs correspond to my thesis. And now I need to dig in and do what my topic sentence promises. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is where the SOAPST comes in. So here is my following paragraph. And this is why I was saying that if you did a good job on your SOAPST table, this essay is going to be very easy. So what I did is I went and looked at my SOAPST table and I asked myself, where do I analyze the first part of her letter? Specifically, where do I analyze things that help me kind of prove how she's using contrasting pronouns? And if you've been reading along, you'll know that I do that in my speaker section and my tone section. And so I copied and pasted these over, as you can see, and I integrated them. So one thing you're going to need to do when you're moving your information over is you're going to want to make sure that it's still well written, that it makes sense, that it's not choppy, that you have transition words, that the line of reasoning is sound. So if you could, go ahead and pause and take a look at how I integrated these two SOAPST items into a really strong paragraph. All right, so hopefully now you kind of see how you too might create your body paragraph by utilizing one or more section of your SOAPST table. If you feel like you get it, go ahead, turn off this video and you can be prepared for your upcoming timed writing. However, if you'd like to stick around, I'm going to go over 2 more body paragraphs. So let's go to the next one. So here's body paragraph 2. Now remember, if you go back to my thesis, I'm going to be talking about allusions to authority. So here I have a topic sentence that says, however, Abigail Adams knows her son and knows that he may need more persuading than simply the opening threats of her letter. She utilizes multiple approaches of ethos to further her support. So this identifies from my thesis what I'm going to specifically be analyzing. Actually, I pull all of this from my audience analysis from my SOAPST because I already had that written. And so when I decided to make my second paragraph about this, I was very excited that I already basically had a paragraph written. So as you'll see here, I copy and pasted directly from my SOAPST table my audience paragraph, and then I went through and I added in transition words, a little more elaboration, and then a conclusion to make sure that this was a really strong paragraph for my essay. So a big thing I want you to take away is that you don't always have to integrate 2 or more together. Sometimes you just have a beautiful paragraph waiting for you in one of your SOAPST items. All right, I'm going to have you pause just for a minute if you would like to go ahead and read this paragraph just so you can see how it came together. All right, let's go on to body paragraph 3. So here's the last example. And so this is my last body paragraph. Again, remember, going back to my thesis, this is going to be about how she uses manipulative pathos. And so we see here, Abigail Adams' manipulative tactics continue with consistent tone from paragraph to paragraph, concluding with the same approach of controlling Quincy's emotions. So my topic sentence here not only links back to the thesis, but kind of addresses what the essay has proven so far. We should see as you write your essay that each of your topic sentences become more and more complex as you develop your own line of reasoning. Now we have a much more straightforward kind of integration of SOAPST table elements. I essentially moved over my shift analysis and I moved over my purpose analysis. I definitely deleted some things out of this that I didn't need, so I edited it, added some things in. Again, even while you're bringing these things over, you need to do a double check that they are working well and that you don't need to change anything. But go ahead and pause and give this final paragraph a read. Excellent. And one thing I definitely want you to take away is how it concludes at the end. You do not need a conclusion paragraph. You don't need it, not for a timed writing. Just make sure your last body paragraph ends conclusively, and you are all set. All right, here's the very last slide I want to show you. This is the introduction of the 3 body paragraphs together into a full essay and what it kind of looks like. Please know that this is what we're working towards. This is a very long essay for a timed writing. It is very thorough. Some of you guys are only going to write half this amount. Some of you guys will write 2/3 of this amount. Maybe some of you guys are ready to write this full amount. But we're all going to start in different places. Remember, this is the first practice, so do the best you can. All right, please let me know via GChat, email, or in person if you have any questions, and good luck on your essay.